Hi, kids. Okay, this is a film that I've already talked about, but I haven't talked about it in this context. Sorry. It's all about Eve, 1950, directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz, starring Bette Davis, Ann Baxter, George Sanders, Celeste Holm, Gary Merrill, Hugh Marlowe, Thelma Ritter. I like to mention Thelma Ritter because I think she's great. And very pre-fame Marilyn Monroe. So I've already talked about this film in my greatest films of all times series. So I'm not going to talk about traditionally. I talk about the production and everything and the making of and history of that. Instead, because it's camp, let's focus on the camp aspect. So camp. It's Bette Davis in this. You have to talk about Bette Davis when you're talking about camp. You're talking about Bette Davis and you're talking about camp. You should talk about her character of Margot in this film. Margot is an icon of camp, of queer culture. Because why? Because, well, she's bitchy. She's self-absorbed. She's got a barbed tongue. She's a diva. All of those things are check marks, aren't they? This film has backstabbing and scheming. It's sophisticated, an air of sophistication. That's pretty camp. It is full of innuendos. There's a big check mark for camp as well. And it could be seen as coded as queer. Eve, you could interpret Eve, all about her, as a lesbian. There's also George Sanders' character. He's the vicious film or theater critic. He takes Marilyn as a beard, maybe. He could very easily be interpreted as homosexual. Right, so there's some homosexuality, some dated views on homosexuality in this film. There's subtext, and that makes it camp too, right? We'll see a couple times in this series, there'll be films that will touch on as much as they can for the times, sometimes, homosexuality, but it'll be a dated view on homosexuality. But now you can look at that, hopefully, and you can kind of laugh at it and make fun of the absurdity of that, of being afraid of someone just for that. Laughing at the absurdity of life is camp. There's the whole around this time in the 50s. This film is 1950. There's the Lavender Scare that goes with the House of Un-American Activities that I talked about in my noir series, right? So it's the fear of the other. There's the belief that homosexuals are more likely to be communist. So, getting rid of communists, let's also get rid of homosexuals. Then we don't have to worry about it. All the McCarthyism and the John Birch Society and all that. Yes. Anyways, all about Eve, Bette Davis, camp. Thank you for watching this. Go watch that. Like, subscribe.